So what do you consider yourself?
Hi, this is me. I moved to Brooklyn, New York when I was 14 years old. I have made many places my home. I was born in Venezuela, lived all over the UK, and now I am living here. And this is my unusual family. My mother has lived through 2 coups and 5 different countries in 53 years. She was born in Chile. Then she moved to Argentina, Venezuela, the UK, and now New York. Here is my stepfather. He was born in Pakistan, and since then, he has lived in Turkey, Kuwait, Washington, D.C., and New York. All of us have lived in many different cities, towns, and countries. But where do we feel, if we do at all, feel that we belong? What does it mean to belong somewhere? And how has this affected us? This is the experience of my family.
Sometimes I wish I never had left my country, because in a sense gives you a more linear life and a real sense of belonging.
Lived abroad my whole life, so that going back to Pakistan never made any sense to me. I think the main thing for me was having it's like that bar in Cheers, having a place where people know who you are. And that's difficult in New York, because even though many people have lived everywhere, everyone knows only a piece of you. No one really knows your history or your culture or indeed your family. So I think that was the hardest thing to give up, was the sense of belonging where you lived in a place where people knew who you were.
I never had a conflict with my sense of belonging. I definitely think that the sense of belonging is very relative and, is inside you. But the first time I really thought about it was when my teenage daughter, when we moved to the US, my daughter was 14 years old, and she came back from school one day and said, "Mom, where do I come from? Where do I belong?"
I always thought of myself as Venezuelan because that's where my parents were from, and I still went every summer or Christmas. I went there, and my family was there, and it wasn't until I moved to New York that I had conflict with where I was from. In New York, people asked you where you were from, where in England it was different. In New York or United States, it's a bigger part of who you are. It's deeper than just, where you're from. It's more like, who are you? I had no one had ever asked me, who are you before. It was very hard for me to answer. And at school, I wasn't seen as belonging to anything, to any part of the school. I wasn't Irish American, I wasn't Italian American, I wasn't Hispanic. So I didn't really feel like anything.
Gives you a broader sense of what the world is about, makes you much more tolerant, much more open, and much more understanding of others that are not necessarily similar to you. Gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can adapt easily anywhere in the world, basically.
I've felt like an outsider all my life, to be honest, and that part kicks in easily. After September 11th, I felt for the first time in a long time like an outsider in New York, because it was a kind of dangerous place where people who looked like me and had my name. And it brought back all those feelings of being really not connected. But those have gone away. unfortunately.
I think my own sense of belonging is still something that I'm looking for, and I don't know when I will be satisfied with it. I guess maybe when I have kids, and then maybe I start creating their home and their sense of being, then maybe that's when I'll finally be comfortable with who I am, hopefully.
For a long time, it meant having a family, but lately it's more general. It's having friends, and owning a house has actually helped a lot. It gives you some sense of having a kind of rootedness. But I quickly realized that owning land in upstate New York, it meant that I had land, but I had no people. And in New York City, you have people. But now I managed to sort of make a mixture of the two. So here I am, a proper Brooklynite with people and some land.
I remember when I was doing my PhD in Essex University in England, and a Colombian lady who was doing an MA asked me where I was from, and I said the whole story, and she said to me, "Oh, but you don't have a sense of belonging and identity." And I said, "No, on the contrary, I think my identity is that one, is to be from all over the place, and that creates your own identity, and you are, in a way, able to have more than one sense of belonging."
As humans, we all feel the need to belong, whether it be to a place or a group of people. For each of us, the sense of belonging is relative. Some will achieve the sense of belonging, some will not. Some will never question it, and others will just wonder. For those of us who belong to the tribe of wanderers, good luck.